Hello Virgo, this is your astrology forecast for the month of May, your horoscope for 2025. And I think over the last few months, we've been going through this time where we've been looking back and spending a lot of our time trying to deal with the stuff from the past. And whereas now this month is the month where I see everything starting to actually move forward. There is one planet going in retrograde, but I don't think the influence will be that strong. So let's just get into it. On the 2nd of May, we have Venus in Aries co-joining Neptune in Aries. Now for you, this is in your 8th house. This is your house of transformation, that house of shared resources, the house where you're talking about your intimacy, your deeper relationships, your maybe even fears, traumas, and things that have been hidden from you. That sort of a stuff in that area, and it's ruled by Aries, so it's Aries. So it's being bold in that area, being passionate. But just be careful we're not running headfirst into anything when it comes to shared resources or sharing things with others. Transformation takes time, yeah? Transformation takes time, and it is an area of transformation. With Venus there though, I think Venus is going to highlight the things that you desire in this area, the things that you want to grow in this area, and the relationships that you have or the relationships you want. The love in your life. I think that's going to be a thing there. Things to maybe deepen relationships. Then it's Neptune. Neptune's the dreams. Neptune's the clouds. The everything up there. The high in the sky. So it's like a higher octave of Venus. So it's all the stuff with Venus, all the love, relationships, things you desire. And then it's all dreamier. Dreamier love, unconditional love, all that sort of stuff. Venus as well rules money. The 8th house is your investments, your wealth, your big money, where you share money with other people. Also clients, the money from clients can come in there as well. So that's another thing. Venus is like, we like money. Neptune's like, we love money. We're dreamy with money. We want the big sums of money. Yeah? And I think the thing with this is it might make you, when it's in A's, it's like, you might want to run head first into these things because they're in your head. You're like, let's do this. This is what I want. And the only thing I would say to that is just make sure that, because Neptune can sometimes be a little bit deceiving. Yeah. It's more deceiving. It can be self-deception rather than somebody else is deceiving you. But with that self-deception, you might say, well, we could just have this. Because if we go for this, that's a little bit out there. I don't know if I'll actually achieve this. Whereas I know I can have this. Yeah. So you might feel yourself wanting to do that. There's also, when it's in the 8th house and your fears and your traumas and all that stuff comes in here, the psychological stuff can come in here. I would be careful we're not escaping reality. Whether that be with substances, whether that be with like spirituality, or whether that be with something, but make sure we're not escaping reality to deal with our fears. Because that's what Neptune can make us want to do. Yeah? It can make you want to lean into something else. Whether that to get away from the things that you actually have to deal with. So I would say just be careful with that with Neptune and Aries and Venus. But I wouldn't say that I like this. I like that is going after what you actually desire, not just the surface level desires, the deep, the big desires, the things that can really, really change your life. Yeah. Then on the 4th of May, we've got Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, which is your 6th house. So this is going to bring like where you can get you're going to see where or maybe where you can have your power in your daily work and routines, your health, your pets, and where you're giving that away as well. And this is about looking back to see where you've done it in the past so that you can break down the old to rebuild the new. So if you can give away your power in some other way, that you could actually be using it for like work, or you could be using it for like your health, or you could be using it for maybe a new pet will come in, or you're looking back at a pet from the past. These sort of things can come up. Do I think this is going to have a big influence on us with Pluto going retrograde? You've got to remember that Pluto takes 250 years to transit the whole sign, the whole 12 signs of Virgo. So this is at the very, very early degrees. I would say unless it is actually aspecting one of your angles or one of your natal planets, I don't think it's going to have a severe a severe impact on you at the moment. I don't think you might not even feel it. But if it is impacting or hitting an angle or something, I would say then that's probably going to feel it. You're going to feel it. Yeah. I would say the exact same thing with Venus and Neptune. If that Neptune is not hitting anything in your chart, I don't think you're going to feel it that strongly. Yeah. You may not even feel it at all. It might just be more about the love and the desires with that one, because she's again at the very, very early stages. She takes 150 years to transit the whole zodiac. So she's at like 1 degree at the moment, 2 degrees, 1. I would have to look at a chart, but she's at the very early stages as well. So I think unless she's actually hitting an aspect or an angle or a natal planet, I think you'll feel that very, very gently. Again, I can't see your individual birth chart. Then as we come into the 5th of May, we've got Mercury in Aries, sextile and Jupiter in Gemini. I really, really like this transit. This is a good day to launch things. This is a good day to communicate, be visible. If you're wanting to launch a new offer, a new product, or a new something like that, that's a good day for that, because you'll be a lot more bolder, you'll be clear, you'll be direct with your communication. The only thing to be, so this is in your 8th house. Again, the 8th house is that shared resource, is the money you get from other people. Yeah. The money you give to other people as well. So it's like, there could be money coming in with that. Yeah. Maybe launching something or communicating a new product around this time is a good way. Yeah. With Jupiter in Gemini, that is in your 10th house. You see there? You've got the house of money and like in your shared money, and then your career are getting highlighted with this one. So Jupiter's there wanting to expand things in your career, and Mercury's in Aries wanting you to speak your truth, wanting you to transform through your, transform your power. Yeah. And again, shared money, big money, money that is with from other people comes to that house. So you see what I'm saying here. There's a link there between your career and your money. Talking about your products, talking about things in this day is a good day. So I would mark that one in your calendar in the 5th of May. Then in the 6th of May, Venus is going to sextile Pluto. So you've got, again, we've got this 8th house activation. I get a lot of vibes that there could be money coming in here with this one. So you've got the 8th house getting activated and the 6th house getting activated here. Yes, 6th house, 8th and 6th. So that's, again, we're on that work side. Yeah, you've had the career getting activated with Mercury on the 5th. Then Venus is then activating your 6th. There's something going on with the way you work, the way your daily routines with work, I would imagine, with the 10th house getting a mention here as well. It's going to be the things you desire. The things you desire with that shared relationship, that shared money, the power that you have, the transformation that you're going through, that sort of a thing. And then your working daily routines with Pluto. He's wanting you to find your power here. He wants you to be that little bit even rebellious at times, but he wants you to break down the structures here to then rebuild it. Yeah. So I like that one. I think that's it's a sextile, so it's positive. You do need to activate it, and that could come through looking at the things you desire, talking about the things you desire, and around your work and around your daily routines. The 6th house is how you serve people. The 10th house is how other people see you. Yeah, that's like the public recognition. Yeah, whereas the 6th house is the actual work you do, how you actually serve people. So you might feel it around this time. You might even want to lean on tech around this time. Moving on, we have Mercury moving into Taurus. Yeah, I like that. He's moving out of Aries into your 9th house. So I think the things that you've been learning through your Mercury's time there, the things communication in that sort of transformation area of your life, the shared money, the things you've been learning maybe about clients and whatever, this is now a time to deepen that. Yeah, the Mercury is now moving into your 9th house, ruled by Taurus, which is all about stability, security, comfort, higher education, travel, long distance travel more, spiritual beliefs, cultural beliefs. This can maybe be leading you to being a little bit enlightened around this time. with Mercury moving in there, all the stuff you've kind of been working on has led you to be a little bit enlightened. You're going in, you're starting to learn. It's like the higher perspectives, not just the day-to-day stuff with the ninth house. You're now learning and a deeper knowledge. I like it's the house that kind of represents Jupiter. So it's like that Mercury's like the day-to-day stuff, whereas Jupiter's like the philosopher, so it's that kind of a perspective on things where your communication might feel a little bit like you're more of a philosopher around this time with the stuff that you've been learning in the eighth house. You're going to deepen that and really get your own perspectives on things, but I think it's going to be a higher perspective on things for you here during this time. But just remember, it's in Taurus. Taurus is slow, steady, there's no rush here. We're wanting to make this as comfortable as possible. Then on the 12th of May, we have the full moon in Scorpio, and Mercury in Taurus is going to square Pluto. Now, for this one, I'm going to do a video on this separately, Virgo, but I will give you a quick rundown just now. So I think the 8th house is, not the 8th house, the 3rd house is getting activated here, and your 9th house. With that, what could look like? So if the 3rd house is your communication, your day-to-day communication, your day-to-day learning, your early education, your local community, your siblings, maybe your extended family, that sort of a thing comes into the 3rd house. And then the 9th house is all about them higher beliefs, the spiritual beliefs, the perspectives, your higher perspectives, your higher education, long distance travel. The 3rd house is more short distance travel. If you've got that, so Scorpio is in your 3rd house, which is where the full moon is. The sun is in your 9th house. Yeah, so it is illuminating the things that you need to see in your day-to-day life. Maybe things that you've been holding on to control to, maybe things you've been possessive around. Maybe it's a thing with a sibling or an extended family member that you've got going on in that area of your life. And you could see a change in your perspective and a change in your belief here that makes you maybe just release the control a little bit, that lets you release that that person from your life. Maybe you're like, right, this just isn't going to work. There's no point in trying to mend this anymore. It could be things like that, but I think that you're gonna get this unexpected change. I will go on to why, but what you've got to remember here is Mercury is going to square Pluto from there as well. So you've got the full moon illuminating the things in your 3rd house, all them things. Then Mercury is going to make a square to Pluto. So that's your communication. Mercury is also the messenger. Mercury, so you get communication, the things you're learning about in your 9th house, squaring your 6th house of daily work and routines. So are you learning something from your daily work and routines that's creating a little bit of tension? You're like, oh, well, I don't know about this. And it's maybe making you think it doesn't align with your perspectives here. Yeah, that's a thing. There's definitely some sort of a tension coming between them two areas. But it's like where you're gripping onto control, or where you are a little bit more possessive, or where your structures need to be broken down in your daily routines. Not daily, not your daily routines, because that's your 6th house. Your daily communication. Yeah, the things you are doing on a daily basis regarding with communication, learning, the people you're seeing on a day-to-day basis. As we go on, the sun in sextile, the sun will conjoin Uranus. This is a few days later, but you're going to feel this around the full moon. And this is a breakthrough. You could get some information that changes things. It's that when it's in the 9th house, it's like that change and that higher beliefs is maybe going to change the way that you see things in your 3rd house of day-to-day communication. And I think with that square to Pluto from Mercury, there's maybe been some communication that you're not happy about here from your daily work and routines and all that sort of stuff, or you learn something from that that's not good serving you or whatever, and it's leading to change. You might not know exactly what this change is, but as the month goes on, it will become more clear. I think this has been a story that's played out for a number of years now. Yeah, this could be where you're giving away your power. Are you giving your power away to more of the higher beliefs and not dealing with the day-to-day stuff? That could be a thing here. But you're going to get some sort of when the sun co-joins Uranus, that is more that shock, surprise, breakthrough, change. Uranus wants sudden change, upheaval, maybe even a little bit. And then Mercury is going to square Mars and Leo. So Mars is in your 12th house at the moment, Virgo. He's in your 12th house. Leo is usually all about being dramatic and over the top and being the main character, but that's your house of the hidden. So Mars is wanting you to really start doing the stuff here. Start taking action in this area of your life. You might not even feel it to a degree because it is so deep inside you. But your spirituality does come in there, and with the 9th house being activated as well, it could be a change in spiritual beliefs. It could be a deepening of spiritual beliefs that are changing the way you see things, that are changing the way you see that house of the third house where Scorpio is. And that's where I think this full moon is leading for you. Now, like I said, this has played out over the last 7 years with Uranus and Taurus. So this is like a culmination point, and Uranus is about to move into Gemini in July. So he wants to tie this up. He wants you to see what you need to change in that area of your life. So with Mercury square Mars, there could be some communication, and there could be a dream or something that comes in that changes your perspective, I think. You're learning something new, I would imagine, that's just maybe not 100% what you agree with. There's a little bit of tension there. But then, on the 20th of May, the Sun will sextile Saturn in Pisces. I don't mind this. This is you looking at the area that Saturn's been for the last 3 years and looking at you look at the changes, look at the boundaries. And with Saturn being in your 7th house and your relationships over the last 3 years, that's like, okay, have we got these relationships to a place where we can then deepen them when I move into your 8th house later in the month? And I think when the Sun's here, it's showing you what's been done in that area. It's what has been done. What can be changed? Where do you need boundaries? Where do you need discipline? Where do you need hard work? In the 7th house. Is there relationships that are maybe a little bit rocky and need a little bit of fixing? Now, this is a sextile, so I think I can just see it's being more positive and bringing more awareness to what's going on in that area of your life before Saturn moves into Aries. Because when Saturn goes into a new sign, it can be a little bit like, oh, hello, reality check, I'm here. The 20th of May, Sun will also move into Gemini. Brilliant, yeah, it's going in. We're then approaching that season where it's now more chatty with the social butterfly. We're starting to get out and mingle. We're looking for the answers that we've maybe needed answered, and that, I think, is coming at the end of the month for you, Virgo, for everybody, Virgo. But yeah, so the Gemini is your 10th house. It's a time for you to be visible and to speak and communicate for your career. Yeah, this is a good time to launch things for you. Yeah, because at the start, you've got that Mercury in Aries sextile in Jupiter in Gemini. You've got Jupiter in Gemini, so when the Sun's there, that's a good time for you to be talking and being visible. And Venus will then trine Mars on the 22nd. So this is, again, Venus is in your 8th house. I'm just going to make a trine to Mars in your 12th house. This is, you're starting to, your 12th house, the house of the hidden, the subconscious, the dreams, all that sort of stuff, is now supporting you. Yeah, you're getting supportive action from that area, whether that be maybe something in your dreams, maybe it's changing your higher perspective, maybe something in your spirituality that is helping you here in the things that you desire with your transformation, with your shared money, maybe you've been a little bit more vulnerable in telling your story. Remember, you have Leo there. They like to have the spotlight. So maybe you've been a little bit more vulnerable in telling your story in a more visible way. Yeah. That is going to then lead to maybe shared income from Venus being in Aries, or the things that you desire. these sort of things. Then the sun will sextile Neptune. Again, I like this. This is that higher octave of Venus. So we've had Venus trining Mars, and then the sun's now sextiling Neptune, bringing that dreaminess, that to all your desires. And I think that's one thing, like, it's okay to be that little bit delusional around this time. Just make sure we're not escaping reality. Yeah. Make sure we're not deceiving ourselves, or we're not giving away all our boundaries. Yeah. Because Neptune is boundaryless. Then the sun will trine Pluto. So the sun is showing you where you can get your power back from in your daily work and routines, with Pluto being there. Remember, he's retrograde, so this is you revisiting and reconnecting with things in your daily work and routines. And then Mercury cojoins Uranus. This is breakthrough communication. This could be shocking communication. This could be communication that changes things, yeah, that you're learning around this time on the 24th. Do I think that this is going to be something that do I think this is going to be something that's really, really clear? I don't think it's going to be clear at this point. And I think I think with the Mercury story in your life just now, there's a reason why that is, because it's doing its rounds. It's literally going into all three of the first zodiac axis, and it starts in Aries, goes into Taurus, and then ends in Gemini throughout the whole of May. So I think there's a story being told here, and it's making a lot of aspects to different planets. So when I think co-joins Uranus, you're going to learn information, communicate. Something that could even be communication that's maybe coming your way, that leads to a change, that leads to maybe upheaval, that leads to this sort of a thing. And it's just before Saturn moves into Aries. Yeah? So Saturn is now moving into your 8th house. Are you learning something from that? 9th house, that is then, that's creating change in that area. But then Saturn moves into Aries in your 8th house. So that stuff you've learned is now going to support you with Saturn coming in there, giving you that sort of a reality check to where you share resources with other people, where your biggest transformations can come from, where you're holding on to power, and where you're maybe trying to grip things too tightly here. It can also show you where you can be a little bit more possessive and stuff like that as well. So when Saturn comes in there, it can feel like a bit of a reality check. Yeah. I'm going to do a video on Saturn and Aries, so I don't want to go in too deep here because I feel like I've been going on for a little while. I need to tie this bit together. But that is a big transit, and it deserves a video of its own. But I think for you, it's moving into your 8th house, that them themes I think are going to crop up, the boundaries are going to get shown, and things are going to get clamped down on, I think, in that area. Mercury will then move into Gemini, sextile Saturn. This is the first aspect to Saturn since moving into Aries, and it's a sextile. Yeah, the communication is supportive, the information that you're learning is supporting, any action you take from this communication is supporting that Saturn and Aries. Yeah, so you're maybe learning the information, you're getting that little bit of a reality check, but you're also getting stuff that's lighting it, I think, with it being a sextile. Then sextile Neptune and Aries. Mercury will sextile Neptune and Aries. Again, the dreams, the desires, what you really, really want, the big things, the lofty goals and all that sort of stuff. And then we have the new moon in Gemini on the 26th. This, again, is in your 12th house. No, it's not. It's in your 10th house. What do you want that area of your life, your public recognition, your fame, your career? What do you want that to look like in the next 6 months? This is where you want to set the intentions. Remember, your shared money is getting really, really activated with Saturn and all these planets hanging around in there just now. There's been a lot of things going on in that area. Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months in this area for the full moon in Gemini, which is around November, December? And look at setting intentions there. Remember, it's dark. You maybe can't see things. You maybe don't know as clearly, but I think Mercury's helping you here. And then Mercury's going to make a trine to Pluto on the 27th, which is, again, supporting that daily working routine. You can see the themes here, yeah? Money is the theme. Career is a theme. Your fears or wins could be a wee bit of a theme here as well. So these things are all tying together to create that. And I think all the things that have been going on in this area in your life, when the sun co-joins Mercury, when the sun in Gemini co-joins Mercury in Gemini, in the case of Kazimi, which means that the Mercury is in the heart of the sun, that I think is when you're going to get your clarity. You're going to get the information that you're looking for here. Yeah, it could, all this change. Remember, Uranus has been so active, and all that change is just going to come to light around that point, I think. I think that will be the day where things will start to make more sense. Which is great, because we're just coming to the end of the month. Going into Jupiter, going into Gemini, what the hell? Going into June, fresh, yeah? We're going into June fresh. Once you learn that information, you know what you need to do. I would say that June is going to be one of the luckiest months of the year. So this is an area, so this information is going to help with that. I totally believe anyway. So this is going to be an interesting month. Good chance there's something happening with shared resources, yeah? Good chance there's something happening there. I would just be careful with that ninth house activation, that we're maybe not using that as comfort, yeah? We're using our spiritual beliefs for comfort to stop us having to deal with stuff. That's where I would maybe be a little bit careful. Again, it's a higher perspective, a higher learning, deeper meaning, all that sort of stuff. Yeah? That area. It's not just spiritual beliefs and stuff. So just make sure you're not using that for comfort, because with Taurus there, it likes comfort and stability. It likes the sensual, the pleasures and all that, the pleasure in life and all that. And if it's getting comfort, it would maybe want to hold on to that and not want to let it go. Okay, and with the other two, the moon, the full moon and Saturn, there will be a video coming out, so we will go deeper into that. Oh, hello, Malik. You joined Virgo before in their reading on TikTok. We're starting off a little bit rocky, because we've got the Three of Swords coming up, which is that sore heartbreak. Maybe something emotional you've lost is creating mental tension, mental pain. You're feeling like you're a little bit sore. There's something that you're maybe grieving. You've lost something that's causing you a little bit of pain. And if I think you're still in that grieving process, whether that's been something that's been before May, or I think you're still in that grieving process, because you're looking back at it. You're like longing for it. So I think this is quite a fresh thing, because you've still got this. But what you need to remember with this card is the Five Cups, is although you're grieving and you're maybe looking back at things that are, and the reason I say looking back is because you've got the Six Cups here as well, which are the looking back fondly, looking back at precious memories, all that sort of nostalgic feeling. And I think you're maybe doing that, but you're putting too much focus there. And I don't know what this is, bearing in mind. Yeah, that could be a heartbreak, a breakup, something like that. But whatever that is that you're putting your focus on, you just need to remember that there's still stuff there that you've not lost, that you've still got, that you've got. And I think you're looking back at the memories, keep them as positive memories, whatever it was. And just remember that there's still things right now that you have. Yeah, there's still things right now that you have. Okay, so that is a tough start to the month. But as they say, and this is in your 8th house, so like there's a lot of activations in that 8th house. A lot of activations. As we move on, with them coming in, there's maybe a little bit of challenges this week, or maybe a little bit of conflict around what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, whatever it is, this is coming up just at that full moon that week, the second week. So I think you're learning. There's that information there that could create that sort of what's happening. There's change. Yeah. But the thing is, you're holding on tight, Virgo. You're holding on tight to whatever it is. A perspective, a belief. Now, it is physical. Yeah. So there's something that you're holding on to in your day-to-day communication or whatever that even though your perspective shift that you need to have, yeah, the change, you're holding on. You're holding on to something here. Again, there is some sort of a celebration though. You've got the 4 wands throughout all the midst of everything. Just a few things going on here, yeah. This celebration, that's like a deepening of a relationship. That's a deepening of your passion for something. Yeah, celebrating your passion, celebrating things. This is known, like, this can sometimes symbolize like weddings and stuff like that. So with that coming up, after the heartbreak part, there's a celebration of some description here, yeah? A celebration of some description. You've had a tough 2 weeks here, Virgo. I think with the full moon, there's stuff being activated here. Yeah? It's making you hold on for control. You're going to need some strength here. You're going to need some strength. So you have got the 5 Pentacles. That's kind of like you can't see the things you've got yet. You don't think you have everything you need. There's that, maybe this is financial. Yeah, there's something financial maybe that you feel like you've maybe lost something financially. Is that what's creating mental tension? And you're too busy looking at what you've lost rather than looking at what you could have. Then with the 6 Cups, you're then looking back at things. You're looking back at the way things used to be rather than doing things. And it's challenging you. It's giving you that, you've maybe that creative block because you don't know what to do with things. And you're holding on to the way things used to be. But then that eureka moment comes in, that change comes in, that higher, newer perspective comes in, and you're challenging it. You're challenging it. You're like, I don't think, I'm still feeling a little bit of this. I don't have what I need. But the thing is, you need to master your craft here. Yeah. I think whatever you've been working on here, by the 3rd week, things are starting to change. Yeah. You've got 9 Pentacles coming up. Yeah. That's reaping the things that you sow. All that stuff that you've been doing. I know sometimes when you're doing that work and stuff, it can feel like you're doing it and you're not seeing the immediate returns, but sometimes take a little bit of time to show. Yeah. You need to have the inner strength here. And then, like I said, the 3rd week, we're seeing some things, tangible things coming together. Okay, the last week is a good one. You need to do the stuff to get you here throughout this month. Yeah, you need to do the stuff. Whatever you're grieving at the moment, you need to work through that. You need to work through that. And I don't know, it feels like something that was heavy on your heart. You're looking back fondly, but there is something that makes me think this isn't a relationship or anything like this. It's financial. I believe I could get the feeling it's financial. The last week, however, you've got the Magician to kick you off. That's you starting to, you build that strength. The strength is came, you're like, yes, I've got the strength now. You're starting to see the benefits. You're maybe on a little bit of a high from that, yeah? But you're believing now. You've got it. You've got faith back again. You're doing things. You know that you've got everything you need. You've got the power to do what you need to do. You know that now. You've got the Ace of Cups coming in. That is something new, something that you desire that's new, that lights your heart up. Yeah? Could be a relationship. Could be a relationship. Whatever it is, it's really emotionally fulfilling. Yeah? 10 Cups. The most emotional fulfillment you can get. It's like emotional contentment from something new that's coming around the last week. That's that information you're learning. Yeah? I don't think the information's going to be the new beginning or anything like that. That's going to be something more maybe creative or more emotional or whatever. But there's a lot of visibility going on here. Is that going to bring somebody to you that is very, very good for you, very emotionally fulfilling? I don't know. I'm glad we're finished off that, because I was looking through this and I was like, May has the potential to be a really, really good month. It has the potential to bring money and all that sort of stuff to you. with the energies around. And I'm like, but this Virgo, you need to stop gripping things so tightly here. Virgo, like Scorpio will, this full moon in Scorpio is gonna push you. I think it's gonna test you. But you need to have the strength. That last week depends on that strength coming. The sooner you get that strength, the better. Because whatever's coming on that last week, with what I'm picking up, whatever I'm picking up just now, that's good. That's good. I love that. I love that. It's a great way to finish off, Virgo. Virgo, keep the strength. Stay strong. If there's anything that we've went over that you want to go a little bit deeper on, you know that you can book a private reading with me. I'll leave that down in the description. But yeah, have an awesome May. And just remember to keep the strength. Because when you have that strength and that inner willpower and that inner trust and all that stuff, it makes things come. Yeah, it makes things get easier. So, Virgo, have an awesome May, and I will see you in the next time.